Don't follow me. I'm lost. Nature is busy creating absolutely unique individuals, whereas culture has invented a single mold to which all must conform. It is grotesque. The plain fact is that if you don't have a problem, you create one. If you don't have a problem, you don't feel that you are living. Thought can never capture the moment of life. It is much too slow. We are not created for any greater purpose than the ants that are there, or the flies that are hovering around us, or the mosquitoes that are sucking our blood. You can have the courage to climb the mountain, swim the lakes, go on a raft to the other side of the Atlantic or Pacific. That any fool can do. But the courage to be on your own, to stand on your two solid feet, is something which cannot be given by somebody. The body is a fortuitous concourse of atoms. There is no death for the body, only an exchange of atoms. Their changing places and taking different forms is what we call death. It's a process which restores the energy level in nature that has gone down. In reality, nothing is born and nothing is dead. Only if you reject all other paths can you discover your own path. Society has put before you the ideal of a perfect person. No matter which culture you were born, you have scriptural doctrines and traditions handed down to you to tell you how to behave. You are told that through the due practice, you can eventually come into the state attained by the sages, saints, and saviors of mankind. And so you try to control your behavior, to control your thoughts, to be something unnatural. The fact is that we don't want to be free. What is responsible for our problems is the fear of losing what we have and what we know. To be yourself requires extraordinary intelligence. You are blessed with that intelligence. Nobody need give it to you. Nobody can take it away from you. He who lets that express itself in its own way is a natural person. I discovered for myself, and by myself, that there is no self to realize. That's the realization I'm talking about. It comes as a shattering blow. It hits you like a thunderbolt. You have invested everything in one basket, self-realization. And in the end, suddenly you discover that there is no self to discover, no self to realize. And you say to yourself, what the hell have I been doing all my life? Question: who am I? Who are you? Answer: you are what you are doing right now. What is morality? It is not the following of enjoined rules of conduct. It is not a question of standing above temptations or of conquering hate, anger, greed, lust, and violence. Questioning your actions before and after creates the moral problem. What is responsible for this situation is the faculty of distinguishing between right and wrong, and influencing your actions accordingly. Life is action. Unquestioned action is morality. Questioning your action is destroying the expression of life. A person who lets life act in its own way, without the protective movement of thought, has no self to defend. What need will he have to lie, or cheat, or pretend, or commit any other act which his society considers immoral? I am not out to liberate anybody. You have to liberate yourself, and you are unable to do that. What I have to say will not do it. I am only interested in describing this state, and clearing away the occultation and mystification in which those people in the holy business have shrouded the whole thing. Maybe I can convince you not to waste a lot of time and energy looking for a state which does not exist, except in your imagination. Life has to be described in pure and simple physical and physiological terms. It must be demystified and de-psychologized. A Messiah is the one who leaves a mess behind him in this world. Yes, is the thing that blows the whole structure apart. If you have the courage to touch life for the first time, you will never know what hit you. Everything man has taught, felt, and experienced is gone, and nothing is put in its place. It is fear that makes you believe that you are living and that you will be dead. What we do not want is the fear to come to an end. That is why we have invented all these new minds, new sciences, new talks, therapies, choiceless awareness, and various other gimmicks. Thinking about and struggling against sorrow is sorrow. Since you can't stop thinking, and thinking is sorrow, you will always suffer. Human thinking is born out of this neurological defect in the human species. Anything that is born out of human thinking is destructive. Thought is destructive. Thought is a protective mechanism. It draws frontiers around itself, and it wants to protect itself. It is for the same reason that we draw also lines on this planet and extend them as far as we can. What you know can never be the beyond. Whatever you experience is not the beyond. If there is any beyond, this movement of you is absent. The absence of this movement probably is the beyond. But the beyond can never be experienced by you. It is when the you is not there. Why are you trying to experience a thing that cannot be experienced? Freedom exists not in finding answers, but in the dissolution of all questions. As long as you are not at peace with yourself, it is not possible for you to be at peace with others. The very motivation, the drive behind our demand to understand the laws of nature is to use them for the purpose of continuing the human species at the expense of every other form of life on this planet. When you're no longer identified with roles and labels and conventional definition of person. Each cell in a living organism cooperates with the cell next to it. It does not need any sentiment or declarations of undying love to do so. Each cell is wise enough to know that if its neighbor goes, it also goes. The cells stick together not out of brotherhood, love, and that kind of thing, but out of the urgent drive to survive. It is the same with us, but only on a larger scale. Soon we all come to know one simple thing. If I try to destroy you, I will also be destroyed. Sometimes we are so involved with our activity that we lose ourselves in it. And in that sense, we are living in the moment. The demand to be prepared for all future actions and all situations is the cause of our problems. Every situation is so different. Our attempt to be prepared for all those situations is the one that is responsible for our not being able to deal with situations as they arise. Understanding is the absence of the demand for understanding, now or tomorrow. The fear of extinction will probably bring us together, not love or feelings of brotherhood. Those who are marching into the battlefield and are all ready to be killed, today in the name of democracy, in the name of freedom, in the name of communism, are no different from those who threw themselves to the lions in the arenas. The Romans watched that fun with great joy. How are we different from them? Not a bit. We love it. To kill and be killed is the foundation of our culture. The problem is this. Nature has assembled all these species on this planet. The human species is no more important than any other species on the planet. For some reason, man accorded himself a superior place in the scheme of things. He thinks that he is created for some grander purpose than, if I could give a crude example, the mosquito that is sucking his blood. What is responsible for this value system that we have created? The value system has come out of the religious thinking of man. Man created religion because it gives him a cover. This demand to fulfill himself, to seek something out there that was made imperative because of this self-consciousness in you, which occurred somewhere along the line of the evolutionary process. Man separated himself from the totality of nature. But we have turned that, what you call sexual activity, which is biological in its nature, into a pleasure movement. There must be two, you know. I love somebody, and somebody else loves me. Wherever there is division, there can't be love. We are trying to bridge this gap, which is horrible for us, which has no meaning, which is demanding something from us with this fancy idea that there must be love between these two individuals. When once we are freed from the goal of solving problems, the question of whether it is a positive or negative approach does not even arise. You will be peaceful when all your ideas about awareness are dropped. The framing of what there is by the mind is what you call beauty. Vegetarianism? For what? For some spiritual goals? One form of life lives off another. That's a fact, whether you like it or not. Courage is not an instrument or quality you can use to get somewhere. The stopping of doing is courage. The ending of tradition in you is courage.